Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with this channel or possibly watching this channel for the very first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense, it is because of the fact on this platform we talk about everyday issues and we try to find logical solutions. But not everyone uses logic. So for that reason, why it is called uncommon sense. I just want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And I just want to give a huge shout out to those of you who are watching this live stream on Twitch. I also want to give a huge shout out to everybody who has supported this channel. I'm happy to say that since May 1st, um, I've gained 36 subscribers. And it's thanks to you and all the supporters that I'm here to produce quality content. Um, if you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and hit the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do prepare any content, you will have the opportunity to watch this live or watch it on the playback. Also, if you wish to enter any comments in the chat, you can do so. In a few minutes, I'm also going to enter the link to join the panel. If you wish, you can do so. Also, after this live stream is over, if you wish, you could enter any comments. What I'm going to ask is please, and I mean please, keep it respectable. Any inappropriate comments will be deleted. Now, before we get into the topic, which is who's winning the battle of the sexes, we're going to have another episode of What the Heck This Is. Okay. This week, we have a couple of candidates for the what the heck this is. First of all, I'm going to discuss what happened in a live stream that I participated with multiracial. And what happened was during her her call-in show, there was another YouTube creator that was following the live stream, and she proceeded to make a lot of angry comments against Gigi, Multi, Hazel, a few other uh, YouTube creators who are biracial and multiracial. And then she decided to put me into the mix and started complaining about me. Okay. Now we have a comment. So let me just highlight that comment. And it is men have won. They got what they want. Women, they can't sleep around and okay, loose ladies anymore. That's what they wanted, right? Uh, you know what? First of all, Magic Mamas. First of all, thank you very much for entering the comment in the chat. Um, I think it's more complicated than that. But thank you. But thank you anyway. Now this YouTube creator decided to, to mention my name and started complaining about me. Now, first of all, I have not said jack regarding this YouTube creator. I'm not going to even mention her name. Now, I understand that there are people that have issues with Golden Goddess, with multiracial, with Hazel, and other YouTube creators who are biracial and multiracial. Okay, that's fine. Don't drag me into your stupidity. That's all I got to say. Particularly if I have not said anything against you. I don't know you for Adam. So therefore, why are you bringing me into this? Unfortunately, you have certain YouTube creators that seem to drag people uh, for whatever reason. Now, the second candidate for what the heck this um, has been the reaction of many of the modern feminists regarding Roe v. Wade. Okay, now I understand it's a very controversial issue. It's a very sensitive issue. But if you were to listen to them speak, you would swear that it was the end of humanity. Now, just to give clarity what happened. Now it's going to be left to the individual states to make a determination as far as reproductive rights. States like New York, California, states in the New England region. Hello, K-Fit. Thank you for entering your comments in the chat. In those states where it's blue, the only it's not going to be any major changes other than perhaps they might qualify reproductive rights. Now, in states which are so-called red, like Florida and Texas, Louisiana, what will happen is there may be further restrictions on abortion or outright ban. Okay, so let's just try to keep things into perspective. Now, my third candidate for what the heck is this is the Democratic Party. Now, they had, okay, let's take a look what Magic Mama had to say. Okay. And you know what? You're going to get, okay, you read my mind, Magic Moms. Now, another thing to bear in mind. There are over 30 different types of birth control for both men and women to prevent not only unwanted pregnancies, but sexually transmitted diseases. And the fact of the matter is, it's a responsibility of male and female to do everything possible to protect themselves, that they don't engage in any activity that would either lead to an unwanted pregnancy or a sexually transmitted disease. Now, as far as the Democratic Party is concerned, with all due respect, Roe v. Wade came into being in 1973. 49 years went by before the Democrats finally decide to codify reproductive rights. And they wait until 2022, and they did a piss poor job at it. Spare me the hypocrisy. If the Democratic Party was truly all that concerned about reproductive rights, they would have done something to codify these rights long ago. But but of course, unfortunately, that makes too much sense. And the fact of the matter is, okay. And let's take a look what Magic Mama had to say. Okay. Would men be willing to take birth control pills even if it messed their hormones and made them depressed and moody and have anxiety? Well, Magic Mamas, there is another type of device which is called condoms. So if men, and actually there is a pill for men to take. So nevertheless, men and women both have a responsibility to do what they can to prevent unwanted pregnancies and sexually transmitted diseases. Now, it's very easy to put the responsibility all on the female because they're the ones that can get pregnant. But in all fairness, again, it takes a male and a female uh, to produce a child. Okay, and let's see what. I hope they'll come up with more birth control options for men. Okay. I don't know if that's going to happen, but again, there's a pill, and then there's a condom. Okay. And again, it is the responsibility of both male and female to take necessary actions to reduce the possibility of unwanted pregnancies. Okay. Now, tonight's topic is who's winning the battle of the sexes. Okay, and let's see what Magic Mamas have to say. Exactly, it's 50-50. I hope we both take responsibility to prevent unwanted pregnancy as much as possible. You know what, Magic Mamas? That would be great if we both took responsibilities for our actions. And there's a word for that: accountability. Okay. Unfortunately, you have men who decides to engage in sexual activity without taking precautions, and then what happens is the woman gets pregnant, and then the woman is left with a choice whether to carry the child to term or have an abortion. Okay, and thank you very much, Magic Mamas. That's the whole point of this platform. It's called Uncommon Sense. And she has another comment. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link in the chat. If anyone wishes to enter. Now, I will hope, in all fairness, that both male and female will get on the panel so we can have a balanced discussion. Okay. And again, I want to encourage everyone to have an opinion. Okay, and I see K Fitz thought of mentioned. I thought about getting your tubes time. That's an option. Okay, that is an option. But let's keep it fair. It's a responsibility of both the male and the female to take precautions. Okay, we love to put the responsibility on the woman or whatever, but in all fairness, the responsibility is both male and female. And I see we have Hazel. Good afternoon, Hazel. Okay. Thank you very much for your comments. Okay. And something, this is a first. Ladies, the ladies are entering the comments, and I think it's great that the ladies are expressing themselves. Hopefully somebody will join the panel so we can have a discussion. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share something. Um, just give me a moment. And then once I share my screen, we're going to get into the topic. Just give me a moment. Now, I don't know. Sometimes it takes a okay. I don't know what happened. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, it didn't show up on the screen, and I see we have a couple more other comments. Just now, I see we have a guest. So what I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to read the disclaimer. The views of the guests who appear on the channel not necessarily the views of the host, not the channel. Any attempt to copy the material without the consent of the host, Jose Negron, or the channel on Common Sense with Jose Negron is prohibited by appearing on the call. You waive your rights to the images on this channel. Some of the views which guests may hold may be considered offensive to some viewers. Those who appear on the panel to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs will be removed from the panel and forever banned from Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. If you don't like the content, you can block the channel.
Hello, Jose.
Hello, Hazel. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Hello to the
Um,
chat, everybody in the chat.
yes, let me just read some of the comments. This is what the intro of Boricua said. Magic Mountain must accept it's not 50-50. Only women have reproductive rights. Men are held accountable by society and in the system. Women are treated like victims of men. And then we have some more comments. Now, actually, part of the reason why we're having this discussion regarding the who's winning the belt, the sexes have to do with what happened um, with the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, and of course, everybody has an opinion about it. So, what's your viewpoint?
My viewpoint is my own. I think everybody has a right to do what they want with their own bodies.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as I'm gonna go with that. Um, if you think that women are treated like victims of men in Florida here, you're gonna think that even more. Because guess what happens now? Come July 1st, um, access to abortion, it was at 24 weeks, right? Up until 24 weeks. Now it's 15
Yes.
weeks. They reduced it.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have an abortion after 15 weeks unless it's detrimental to the mother or the baby. So that means if you get pregnant by rape, incest, or human trafficking, you cannot get an abortion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also, unmarried men, if you have a girlfriend, you get her pregnant, you have to start paying child support at 15 weeks of pregnancy. That's the new law here that starts in July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because the government is sick and tired of taking care of babies out of wedlock. All right? So men are not victims, women are not victims of men. Women are always left to take care of the children. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
I one thing I can't stand about the male species here is that they cry like they're victims, they don't have any rights, and it's a bunch of crap. They can go to the courts and they can get their in Florida and in New York, and then there's other states, get joint custody. The problem with a lot of these men, they want to act like they want joint custody. They don't want joint custody. They want sole custody. They want to take the custody away from the woman because they don't want to pay the woman child support because they're not together. And let's face it, a lot of these men don't want to take care of their kids. They don't want to take care of anybody that they cannot have sex with anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I don't care what
Mm-hmm.
women or men do with their body. What I care is that the government wants to have too much control, and if they can do this, they can reverse interracial marriage. They can redo. They can reverse gay marriage. They can. I hear things about them trying to make laws for the legal age of marriage to be 15 years old. A 15-year-old can get married now. That's what they're trying to push as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in Florida here, men are gonna have an even harder time because if you get a woman pregnant and you're not married to her, you have to pay child support in the beginning of the end of the first trimester. All right? Because they're sick and tired of taking care of women who have babies out of wedlock. That men are not being taken advantage here. They need to be held more responsible because they're out here having unprotected sex, just like the women are having unprotected sex. They're out here making babies. Then the woman is always left to held the bag. And what happens when the poor woman cannot take care of her kids? Now she has to go on welfare, right? She has to get Medicaid. She has to get food stamps or whatever it is. The government always has to pick up the tab. And here in Florida, they're getting sick and tired of this. Too many people having babies out of wedlock. As a matter of fact, here in Florida, cohabitating without a marriage license is illegal. They just don't enforce that law. So having a baby mama, having a baby daddy, and not being married is actually illegal in the state. Um, so now you men, this affected you too. You think this shit is cute. Oh yeah, now you can't kill your babies anymore. Oh, it was never about that. Now you are going to be on the hook for taking care of a baby that is not even born yet in the state of Florida, and the baby might not even be yours. And if you choose not to take care, not to financially support the baby, starting at 15 weeks in the womb, once that baby is born and there's a paternity test taken and you are the father, you're going to have to pay retro. So you're going to have to pay all the way back until that kid was 15 weeks in the womb.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that women have, if men were taking care of their children, they wouldn't be child support and custody battles. Women don't just decide to go and do these things. Now you have some women who get pregnant on purpose. You have that. I'm not going to say that women are innocent and that they're all perfect and they don't do no wrong. What I'm saying is, it is absurd that you have to now pay child support for a child that's not even born yet and may not be yours.
Mm-hmm.
You should be upset. You should be worried about that, because these anti-abortion laws or restricting abortion is affecting men. You have married men out here who, they cannot have a baby because they're not financially stable. Then the wife gets pregnant, right? So they agree to have an abortion now. So what happens to that married couple? They both decide to have that abortion, right?
Mm-hmm.
and you're restricting them. In certain states, you're saying abortion is not legal altogether. So it's not just men, it's not just women deciding to have an abortion. Sometimes a couple is deciding, and a lot of times it's a married couple deciding to do this. So no, they don't. I don't know who this 18 letter is. I don't know what is this. Yes, they do. I don't understand what that means here. Why they're saying that? You have a problem here with
Okay,
somebody.
excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Rakeem, if you want to get on the panel so you can explain that point of view, I would appreciate it. I'm sorry, Hazel. I just wanted to make sure,
It's okay.
If anyone,
I'm not gonna stay long. I'm just letting people know that here in the state of Florida, they're trying to force men to take care of a fetus. It was a fetus to take care of babies not even born yet, and the baby not even be yours. So that means a woman can say, "Hey, this guy got me pregnant here," and we're not married. You see how unfair that can turn out to be?
mm-hmm.
So this is a very slippery slope here. Yeah. I don't know about all states. I'm talking about the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only talking about my state. That's all I can say.
Oh, okay. As I stated, it's a responsibility of both the male and the female,
right,
to take actions necessary to prevent not only an unwanted pregnancy, but sexually transmitted diseases, because it takes a male and a female to produce a child. And I'm just trying to have the intro Boricua join the panel. It's just that
I'm gonna drop off now. I just wanted to sound the alarm that Florida is making some really outrageous laws. So they just reduced the abortion from 24 weeks to 15 weeks, but now unmarried men are going to have to start taking care of babies that are not born yet, starting at 15 weeks of pregnancy. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much. Hopefully, at some point later on, you'll catch the stream in its entirety. And of course, you're more than welcome to enter any further comments after the stream is over.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
Yes. Hello, Ramon.
Hey, Don Jose, how you doing?
Okay. Welcome to the Golden Sphere.
No, no. It's warm enough here. I'm happy with the warm here, so I'm okay. I'm okay. Well, this quickly got a little bit intense. I only made one comment, and unfortunately, Hazel, having I didn't want it. I didn't mean for that to bother you, but I'm just stating something that is actually verifiable. And I'm speaking as somebody who grew up without his dad. I should be agreeing with everything that you're saying, but I still have to stick up for my gender. And we're not a species. Being a male is not being of a different species. That's not a thing. We are part of the human species also. Females are part of the human species. Males are part of the human species. That's the first thing. When it comes to what she's saying about the law in Florida, what they're saying, I don't know. I think that there is a conflict there, because my understanding is that a dad can be held responsible for child support, but that's only if he actually signs the birth certificate. Now, that's something that can vary from state to state. I mean, that's not something that I'm dealing with, so I don't know the details. Somebody who is of the male gender, who is actually paying child support, should be able to elaborate on that, because that's not my situation. But that whole thing, I didn't know about that. But then again, I'm not in Florida. I didn't know about that retroactive payments for child support. Hey, I'll say as a male, I'll say so be it. If the man has doubts as to whether the kid is his or not, he should be able to. He shouldn't sign anything that makes him responsible for paying child support while the baby is still in the womb. He shouldn't be able. He shouldn't have to do that. He shouldn't be forced to do that unless he signs something. If he makes the mistake of signing something that forces him to do it, okay, that's his mistake. You see that I'm not gonna be going all I'm not gonna bend over backwards to defend one of my own gender. If he messes up, I don't have a problem with the accountability part. Women, we for the most part don't have so much of a problem with accountability because we have to deal with it every day. Now, that whole part when I say that women can be treated as kind of like being victimized, that's why I'm saying it's not 50-50 because and that's the part that bothered Hazel, it seems. But at least what we're seeing all around is like the automatically that is going to be the future deadbeat if things don't work out, and the woman is kind of treated a little bit as a kind of like being victimized. I get it. She keeps the kid, but that's how it's set up. Even when there is when there is the whole child support thing is settled with. I mean, it's still the like what 90% of the time the kid does go to the mother, and the man, if he's responsible, he's gonna be paying for it. He's gonna be paying for that. So that's what I'm saying. The accountability for men is already there. It is happening. So that whole notion that a man can go missing and he doesn't have to pay child support. I mean, a lot of guys are going to jail because of that, because they're not paying child support. So it can
That
go
is
to
not
that.
true. That is not
Okay.
true.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't have anything against introverted Boricua. I'm not upset with anything you said.
Mhm.
I think people need to understand that when people disagree with you, don't take it personal.
No,
What
I'm not
you're
taking
saying
anything
is
personal. Mhm.
what you're saying is of your opinion, right? That's your opinion. That's nothing personally against you. What I'm telling you, what you're saying is factually incorrect because there are a lot of men who do not pay child support and don't get thrown in jail. Okay? That is not
Well,
true. And there's women out here, such as myself, when I got my son used to live with his father and I used to pay child support. When I got my son back, um, I did not go to jail. I stopped paying child support because the child was with me. I did not go to jail. You get your license suspended. If you get caught, you get pulled over for whatever reason, you go to jail. If you do a crime, yes, you go to jail. But nobody's searching for men and throwing them in jail because they don't pay child support. It just keeps on accumulating. That's what happens. When I'm talking about Florida, Florida changes laws and people are not paying attention. It is no longer, oh, after the baby's born, you do paternity and then then we'll see if you're the father and you pay child support. The laws have changed. This law was passed back in April. The Governor DeSantis signed the law and it starts July 1st that the baby doesn't have to be born anymore. 15 weeks, you're going to start paying child support. And the men are not held accountable because the women are the ones forced to take care of the children. Yes, they pay the child support, but a lot of these men are not even paying the full child support. But the woman always comes out paying more, doing more because the children are with her. Now, if more men ask to get custody or joint custody and that the child resides with them, then you could say that it's 50-50, but it's not 50-50. It is not. And it's not because a lot of men do not want that responsibility to take care of their child. It's a lot. It's a lot for men. You cannot go party anymore. You can't do this. You can't do that. You are now stuck taking care of these children. And a lot of men don't want that responsibility. They want to be free to move as they want. Not to say that they don't love their children. I'm not saying that they don't love their children. They want to take care of them. The actual physical raising, the women are most of the time left to do that. Are men not taking care of their children financially? I never said that they're not. But that's not holding you accountable. That is not holding men accountable, that they are more being held accountable more because they're paying child support. That is not true. the woman is also paying for those children, but she's also physically restrained to raise the children. She's not free to go anywhere she wants to. She's not free to hang out and come home whenever she wants to. See, just paying child support, that is not the only accountability. That's what I'm trying to say here. What Jose said, what Introverted Boricua is saying, he is right. A lot of men are financially taking care of their children, but that's not the only accountability that needs to be spoken about here. It's actual physical raising of the children, and that is usually left to the mothers.
Okay, one thing that I wanted to add: you are saying that the mothers that are being stuck with the kid and they can go out and party and hang out. That's not true. We're seeing things about that all the time, about how these mothers are leaving the kids with somebody else or with the kids' grandmothers so they can go out and have fun and party and bullshit and do whatever it is that they want because they want to be able to still live their life. We're seeing that all the time. That whole thing that automatically all these mothers are staying home, it's raising the kid. Not all of them. Many of them are still partying and bullshitting and going out and hanging out. So
where's the father? Where's the father in this situation? He should be taking care of his kids instead of being left with the grandparents or someone else.
Well, it goes back to why the woman and the man are not together to begin with. Why they are not together? Why did they have a fallout? Why is it that these mothers are already single when the kid is only 6 months old and they're already single and going out and partying?
I hope you're not blaming the mothers that they don't want the men, that they're just kicking them out after the baby's 6 months old. I hope you're not saying that, because you cannot force people to be together.
No, we have, but why are they split apart so soon? Why they split apart just months after the kid is born?
Well, I don't know, but I know a lot of men out here who are getting multiple women pregnant at the same time too. They're not married to any of the mothers.
Yes,
he cannot be there for all of the
because a lot of these women are choosing to be with a small amount of guys that are getting all the attention from all of these women, and they are very irresponsible. Yes, they are bugs and they are irresponsible, and they don't give a damn if they impregnate this gal or this gal. They have like 7 baby mamas at the same time, and all of the kids are about the same age. but a
so
lot
you
of these
mean to tell me a
women,
small amount of men are getting all of these women pregnant? Stop.
Yes. There are stats that support.
A small amount of men are not getting all of these women pregnant.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. There are numbers. There are stats that support that, Hazel.
Well, you know what? Put the resource of where you got that from into the comments. Don't just say
the majority of men are single and childless.
Okay, excuse me. Okay,
yes,
excuse me. If I can just chime in, please. Okay. Now now I am male, but I'm going to keep it 100. Okay. Part of the problem is both the male and the female. Okay. Well, hear me. Now, I'm not saying just the female. I'm saying both the male and the female are making poor choices. Okay. Unfortunately, what happens is it is the woman that gets stuck with having to decide to whether to carry the child to term or to have an abortion. Now, are there men that are being irresponsible? I agree with you. You're not going to get an argument with me. But let's keep it 100. There are some women, I say some. So please do not kill me saying that Jose is anti-female, whatever.
No.
But there's some women that are seriously making poor choices. And one thing, remember, you're the only one that can grant access to a guy. Because if a guy wishes to engage in adult activity against the woman's will, that's sexual assault. So, unfortunately,
they're trying to outlaw that too. Just to let you know, they're trying to outlaw that too, sexual assault.
Okay.
They're trying to call
Me-
it surprise sex now. Surprise sex or unexpected
We're
sex.
not doing that. We're not doing
Okay,
that.
okay.
No, I
Can
know you're not doing it. I know you're not doing it. What I'm saying is they're trying to turn rape into surprise sex. That means it's
No,
not
but
really
I
rape.
mean in Florida. You mean in Florida they're doing it?
No. It's more conservative legislators all across the country, not just in Florida. They're trying to make the word rape into surprise sex, so that it will be outlawed that you cannot throw a man in jail for forcing himself on a woman. Did he really force himself on her, or she was just shocked? She didn't expect for them to have sex. You know what I'm saying? So
That's not gonna fly.
that's not gonna fly, but they
Mm.
want to do that. That's what I'm saying. And again, I have
Okay.
nothing
they will
against
try.
Jose. That's Jose, introverted Boricua. I respect your opinion. I don't have nothing personally against you. I hope you don't take my disagreeing with you as
I can take a
as me-
disagreement. That's fine.
Okay, because I don't want anybody to think that I just don't like you, or you know what I'm saying, because I
No.
don't really. Okay. No, just want to make sure, because some people they don't understand that opinions can be different from feelings. All right, I have nothing personally against you.
No. But I'm not talking out of feelings. This is something that can. What I'm saying, it can be verified. I'm not talking out of feelings,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's okay. It's perfectly fine that you disagree.
Are you sure you're not talking about the Black community? Because
No.
I don't think all races of women are having sex with the same group of men.
No, but it happens in with white people too. It happens with white people that a whole bunch of the majority of women have this attraction to a small amount of the chats, and they call them chats. And what's the other name that they use for them? The kind of like the white alpha mates, the white alpha males.
Brats?
The brats and the chats that are getting a lot of the women that are, and these women, they know that these guys are no good, that these guys are assholes, but they are the ones that they find attractive, and they flock to them and they throw their pennies at them.
Oh,
that happens
okay.
twice too.
Okay.
I wasn't talking about
wanted
race.
to say something. Jose wanted.
Okay.
Jose.
Can I continue my point, please?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, as I stated before, both male and female have made poor choices. Unfortunately, the one that suffers the consequences is the female. And the fact of the matter is this: there are over 30 different types of birth control for both male and female to use. Now, before I continue, I just want to acknowledge the fact that Blazing King is in the house. Good afternoon, Blazing King.
Hey, Blazing King. Hey.
So let's keep it 100. I mean, the responsibility to provide unwanted pregnancies are both for the male and the female. Okay. Now, I understand when it comes, a lot of women are upset regarding this decision. Okay. But let's keep it 100. Abortions are never going to go away. I mean, what's going to happen is, in states like which are so-called blue, it's going to continue. But the thing that upsets me the most is that the Democrats are crying about this, yet they had almost 50 years to codify Roe v. Wade, and they waited until 2022 to do this. So
I think they use it as a political pawn, to get the people out to vote.
So basically, the reason why the Democrats are using this chip is because they know that that the House and the Senate is going to become Republican. So they're using this as their ace in the hole.
Right.
But if they were really all that concerned about reproductive rights, at some point they would have these rights codified. And there's it's a lot of hypocrisy. And again, I'm not saying all the men are irresponsible. There are irresponsible men. There are irresponsible female. So I don't want the ladies in the channel in the chat to crucify me saying that I'm anti-female. I don't want the guys in the chat saying crucify me saying that I'm anti-male. But let's keep it 100.
They're both being irresponsible, and I think the age of the hookup era, whatever they want to call it, because I'm married. The only hooking up I'm doing is with my husband. That is gonna have to reduce or just get away altogether, because a lot of these babies are coming about, and the parents don't even know each other for that long.
Yep.
That's another issue, right? So I'm sorry. I just want to apologize to introverted Boricua. I kind of see his point now with the it's a small group of men being chosen. He has a point to that,
It's all
because
right.
I think the hookup culture. I don't think they're just picking these men because, oh my God, yeah, he's so cute. I think there's a irresponsible people, like you said, irresponsible women hooking up with these guys because they make themselves available, and that's probably why this is happening. So the men who are responsible and the ones who want a serious family dynamic, they're being overlooked because you have these guys who probably only have to offer sex. These are the women that are getting caught, and then they look good. So I now I understand what he's trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they're just picking them just to pick them because it's just a small group. These guys, I just want that guy. I think you're not being logical here. You're not thinking long term. You're thinking short term of climaxing, but then there's consequences to not only that, the spreading of disease.
Exactly.
Yeah, that one is like more of a major concern when it comes to that. And yeah, that one. Well, you're talking about the hookup culture or the Tinder thing. I don't know if it's the Tinder generation, the swiping left and right.
That.
Mm.
Yeah, Grinder, Tinder, plenty of fish. There's also something called Ashley Madison, and that's for married people to hook up and cheat with each other.
Yeah, I have come across that website, and that's kind of like that's dangerous. That's dangerous because it can end up in tragedy because one trying to get with somebody who's already married, and we don't know if the third person is a psycho. It can blow up in one's face, and one can end up losing their life. I mean, because there are people that play those games. I mean, I can tell you, but the thing is that there are guys that play those games, that play the field and that, but there are women that are doing that too. I still remember one tale when I was in Mississippi. I knew this tall, blonde, older woman who rode around in a Harley Davidson. She was a biker chick, and she told me this story about what happened with her mother, how she lost her mother. Apparently, she was also very attractive, and she would play these games with men because she could do it. She was attractive. She drew a lot of attention to herself, and she at some point she ended up playing those games with the wrong dude, and that dude put a bullet through her heart, and that's how she lost her mother. So like one has to be careful with what one does out there, and that was like years ago because this woman was already kind of older, so her mother had already been killed years ago. So it can happen. It can happen at any generation. So it's kind of like be conscious and be careful and be responsible too. I mean, nobody's saying that one cannot go out there and meet and have a good time, but there is a time and a place for everything. And when it comes to if there is somebody who already has a certain responsibility that they have to take care of, then tend to that. If there is time for something else and to be able to kick back and chill and hang out or something like that, okay, kind of like keeping a balance, being responsible about it.
I just want to sound the alarm that these laws also affect men, and they're trying to force men, to be responsible for babies that they don't want to be responsible for either. And I don't think it's right. Like I said in Florida here, that you're forcing men to pay child support for children that may not be his. Okay, I'm not only on the woman's side here. I think it's absurd. And I know of men here that they're already proven not to be the father, and they're still on the hook for child support. They already proved they weren't the father.
Yes,
You
that's
know?
why mandatory testing should be put into law. Mandatory testing to make sure, because it is like over 20% of the time. I understand that
Yeah.
there are daddies that are taking care of children that are not really theirs. The kids don't look anything like them, but they
Yeah.
signed the birth certificate, so they're already on the hook. It's
Yeah.
something that I read years ago, that it was like between 20 to 30% of the time, and that's a lot. That's a
That's a
lot.
lot.
A lot. There is a lot of cheating on the part of the woman too.
I also think that birth control, whatever forms of birth control are there, I think Theo Jose that they said that there's 30. They need to be accessible, easily accessible, because
Hmm.
these same states who don't want abortion are also making it hard to get birth control.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways. You got to let people be responsible with their reproductive choices. So you cannot stop humans from having sex. We're like any other
Oh
animals.
no.
Humans
No,
are
no, because
animals.
we are sexual beings. We are driven by it because that's how we reproduce. So we
Right.
are
Yeah.
hardwired to be
But
into it. Yeah.
humans
Well,
also like to have sex not to reproduce. Humans like to have sex because it feels good. So when Theo Jose says that there's 30 different birth forms of birth control for men and women to use, these
Mhm.
same states need to make it easy to get and affordable.
mhm.
Well, I understand. I understand what Magic Mamas. I think she was saying when it comes to pills and taking pills, how it can cause symptoms and things like that. I understand that the IUD doesn't have any side effects. That you should be able to wear that, and you should be able to remain healthy.
I
But
I
I don't
I
know.
I got pregnant off of IUD, two different forms, Paragard and the ring. I got pregnant two times off of that.
Okay.
But
And what?
I was
What did
married already.
you
I was already
apply?
married. My husband was happy.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I just want to, Magic Mamas and Blazing King. If you want to join the panel, please, the link is there. Do not be shy. And, and if we disagree, fine. Let's be agreeable when we disagree. Now, I myself, I'm pro-life, but I take issue with my fellow pro-life people for the following reasons. We're concerned about what before the child is born. But once the child is born, we don't want to know anything about it. So if we're going to be fully pro-life, that means pro-life in every aspect and every being, which means making sure that each human being have a quality of life, not just when the child is in the womb, but after the child. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, Blazing. Not just when the child is in the womb, but once the child is out, and then the child's growing, and then once that person becomes a senior citizen. Okay. Also, medical care should be accessible to all, whether free or cost, free or
Cost.
inexpensive.
Mhm.
And if we really going to be pro-life, really 100% pro-life, what we can do, some of these children that are abandoned, we can adopt. So believe me, both the pro-choice and the pro-life people are going to hate me, but I'm going to keep it 100.
I agree with you there. I am not a Democrat or Republican, just to let you know. I am pro-human, and I understand that humans are like any other animal, are flawed.
Yeah.
We we do things, we do irrational things, but we can't keep punishing for irresponsible behavior. We can punish those who commit crimes against others, but something like this with irresponsible sex, people shouldn't be punished for that. We should be educating and implementing laws that help those who get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Those who are not being responsible, help them find ways so that they can take care of their children and make better choices. You know what I'm saying? Especially at parenting classes, there should be a time for people who are about to be parents to take these classes.
I agree. I just want to say something to Magic Mamas. I just want to let you know that whenever you feel comfortable getting on the panel, by all means. And if you have not subscribed, I really would appreciate you subscribe to my channel. You can see that we have intelligent conversation here.
Men, be vigilant. Men, be very vigilant, because the government is coming
I have
after
been
you
vigilant.
too. The government
Yeah, I have been
is
vigilant.
coming
That's
after
what.
you
That's
too.
what. I don't know if any kids are there. Oh, my bad. Say again.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
No, I was saying that I have been vigilant. That's why, as far as I know, I don't have any kids, so I have been vigilant on that aspect. But you were saying that the government is also coming for us.
Yeah, they're coming for the men too.
But they have
want
been
you to
coming for us
impregnate more
too. They have
women.
been coming. That's the part that I have to disagree with you, because the government has been coming for men too. The child support system.
No.
It's
I'm
very,
talking
it's
about
very
forcing you guys
biased.
to procreate. They're trying to force you guys to procreate and then keep the baby to make you to force you to raise the babies that you don't want. I'm talking about men who do not want to have children. They're trying to make it hard for you to get a vasectomy and stuff like that too. They want you to go to all of these classes, mental health. They wanted you to get a mental health checkup to make sure that you're having a vasectomy for the right reasons. And it's like, but what does that have? What is it your business to ask me what's my mental right? What's my mental stability on having a vasectomy? If you want to have a vasectomy, you should just freaking have a vasectomy. The government shouldn't be prying in and asking you, well, why do you want that? You know what I'm saying?
So that's what's happening. They're talking about that in Florida, about doing that?
This is in all states. Well, all the states that are more conservative. Yes, here in Florida, yes, they're trying to make men take some type of counseling before they get a vasectomy. Yeah. They're trying to make you get some counseling for that, which is weird. That's weird. Why do you want to know why he wants to have a vasectomy?
There is that, and also there was something that Denise put up on her Instagram that is kind of like the opposite of that, and that was that some Oklahoma senator wanted to propose a bill that would force all kids, males, to already get the vasectomy when they're still kids, and only get the reversal later on when they become successful and they have money and they can afford to take care of the kids.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's actually gonna fly, because it goes complete opposite of what you're talking about. And this is also, I think, a conservative senator in Oklahoma. So there is already a contradiction there.
Yeah.
So
listen, my husband had a vasectomy. My husband had a vasectomy after we had our third child.
Yeah.
And then when we had tried to have one more, like 5 years ago, we tried to have one more. Yes. When he went to reverse it, we couldn't make another baby.
No, because
it doesn't always work.
No, because the vasectomies are designed for not being able to be reversible. That's not how it is designed to be. Like they're cutting the vas deferens in kind of like the permanent solution, something that is supposed to stay that way. Okay, yes.
You know why?
You can try and get it reversed. You can try and get it reversed, but it's very expensive and it might not work.
You know why he had to get one? Because they denied me to tie my tube.
I
already had 3 children. This happened in New York. I had 3 children before I moved to Florida. I was born and raised in New York. I had 3 children. So, and my last 2, I had them back to back. So he used to call me Fertile Myrtle. Right? So, but it's Happy's fault. Don't blame it all on me. But he used to call me Fertile Myrtle. So I asked for, and he teases me all the time about that. I had to go. I wanted to get my tubes tied, and in front of him, my doctor said, "No, you're too young. You're only."
There is that. Yeah, there is that age limitation. If you're too young, they might not do it out of ethical reasons, because you might change your mind later on.
No, that's not what they said. That's not what they said. I was 26 years old. I have 26 years old, right? I had 3 children already. They said, oh, no, because he might want to have more children. Not because if we might want to have more children, he might want to have more children.
Okay, but that's an assumption. They don't know that.
Well, we were saying that we didn't want any more at the time.
Yeah.
We didn't want any more at the time. And I wanted to get, and I don't like being pregnant. I like having my children, but I don't like being pregnant. It's very uncomfortable for me.
Right.
I said, okay, I want my tubes tied because listen, I took birth control, 2 different birth controls, and I still got pregnant each time. That's why I had the babies back to back. Right?
Okay.
So the first birth control failed, which was the Paragard. And then the ring, that was another form of birth control, and that one failed as well. That's why I got pregnant 4 months later. And then
Well, somebody has to sperm.
It was that quick. And then when I said, okay, so now I want my tubes tied. And they said no, because your husband might want to have more children down the line. And he was shocked. And they said that right in front of him. He went with me to my appointments.
Mm-hmm.
He went and he called up places that take his insurance for vasectomy.
Mm-hmm.
When they said that, the very next day he started making phone calls, and within 2 months he got the reversal. But 5 years, so then that happened 11 years ago that I asked for a tube tie, because I'm 36 now.
Okay.
So we tried 5 years ago to have another child together, and it didn't work. He could not produce. So unfortunately, it was too long.
Mm-hmm.
It was too long until so many years had passed. And it's not like we're not financially stable. Is that, you can't keep having babies after babies after baby, but then it becomes too expensive. But we're financially stable for this. I just want to pace them out. So I had to get a hysterectomy because whatever happened with my last child damaged my uterus. It damaged my uterus when I had my last child. So I had to get a hysterectomy. So we both are sterile now,
Okay. Excuse me. I just want to acknowledge that Golden Goddess is in the chat. Gigi,
hi, Golden Goddess. I'm
Gigi,
gonna get down. Let me get down and let other people get on. And I'll
actually, I can have up to 9
You can
guests
stay
on
on.
mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could stay
So
on, and if Gigi wants, she could come up.
Yes, by all means, Gigi. If you want to join the panel, by all means, you're more than welcome. But the the fact of the matter is, it could get heated when it comes to these discussions, but here we try to keep it calm.
That's why I kick back and let Hazel have her say, because I know I know that what I said upset her. So I will say
no. It didn't upset me. It didn't upset me. It didn't upset me at all. I just disagree. I disagreed. I just disagree. But I understand where that idea that women are picking a small percentage of men. I get it now, because there is a hookup culture. I think that's where these women are getting pregnant by a small group of men.
Okay. Okay, excuse me. I just want to acknowledge the fact that the Angry Biracial and Mulata Mermaid is in the chat. I'm sorry. And the Radical Latino.
All right.
What's going on, Radical? Hey.
What about pregos? What about
what in the pregos are we talking about?
I
think that's what he meant. Maybe that's what he meant.
Okay. Okay. Hey, women have to be more responsible, because at the end of the day, it's your body. You're the one that's going to be carrying. So women they do have more responsibility than the men. You have to make better choices. Also, you have to take your own protection into account. You cannot rely on the men. You have to protect yourself, whether if it's birth control, there's female condoms.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That you can women can put it on and go around about their business with the condom, with the female condom on, and when she's ready to do the deed, then she do the deed, and she pull the whole thing out and throw it away.
There's multiple
so
ways.
there are options. There are options. I mean, the man only has the condom that can fail, but women do have more options.
Right.
So that's something to consider.
Okay, I just want to acknowledge that the 18th letter is on the panel, and right now there's currently 10 people viewing the stream. I just want to say thank you very much.
18th letter.
What's going on, Rakim?
Hey, what's up, Hazel? How you doing today? Shout out to my
Hey.
boy, the introvert Boricua. Shout out to my YouTube dad, Jose. How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
And I just want to let everybody know that the Radical Latino will have have a video regarding whether or not the reversal of Roe v. Wade is going to affect the Latino community. So, and it's going to be on I think 9:30. So check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, everybody got to be more responsible. That's just how I view it now. You gotta protect yourself and not rely on the other person to do whatever it is they think they should do to protect themselves. You know that you don't want to have children. You know this is not the right time to get pregnant. You need to take multiple measures to make sure you don't get pregnant, and leave the men to decide how they want to do it. Everything cannot be, just, oh well, I have this option here. I have this option for abortion and stuff like that. That shit is that right there is not healthy. It's not healthy to have multiple abortions, and it's life risking.
Anytime, Radical question: when you gonna make me a mod on your channel? No, but
But
let's
anyway,
get.
I am gonna step down. I really do need to step down. But I'm watching in the chat. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much for stopping by.
You're welcome. And Mr. Boricua,
Yes.
you can't upset me.
Ah,
You can have your opinion. Should don't ever think that you could, that people, with anybody who gets upset over your opinion, they're taking it too personal. I'm sorry.
yes. Yes.
I hope I didn't make you feel like I was upset.
No, no,
Okay.
no, no. You're fine. You're
All
fine.
right.
Hey.
'Cause I adore you, and I admire. I really like your voice. He has a different kind of accent.
Yeah, but I'm an islander, so that's where that comes
Yeah.
from. I'm from
Yeah.
the island, so we have a particular accent that I have been criticized for, but it means more coming from you that you appreciate it.
You're welcome. I did this, and I love accents, and I'm half Boricua too, so I
All
understand.
right.
All right.
Good, good
I love
deal.
you all of you. Thank you for letting me come on, Jose, and I'll be in the chat. All right.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Nothing but love for you. Take care,
All
chica.
right.
Okay. Ladies, if you wish to join the panel, I'll drop the link again because it shouldn't just be men discussing this issue because it does affect the ladies as well.
Yeah, yeah. Come on up. Come on up. Let's kind of like bring balance to it because we have our own point of view, but we have a point of view. We can talk about the when it comes to the child support part of the issue, but when it comes to the experience, the biological experience that you ladies have to go through, that's something that we can only imagine. So it is important that you also share with us and what the experience is like, so we can
Okay.
understand better.
Well,
Absolutely.
fellas, welcome to the Golden Spear.
Ah, here we go. The coldest spear stop. No. It's summer. It's summertime. There is no golden spear. Not anytime soon.
Well, on this platform, we have a thing called the Golden Spear.
Yeah. I know.
But Raquel, do you want to continue your input? And again, ladies, please. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? It's
Hey,
okay.
hey, Joaquin, can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm here, fellas.
Oh, okay. Okay. You were talking about Golden. Ah, no, it's
Yeah,
good to see her in the chat. So if she gets a little minute and she can come up, that's all right.
me personally, I think it just has a lot to do with a lot of women, just not all, but we have a significant amount of women that just wants to be, just want to make whatever choice they want to make and, be sexually irresponsible. And, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. You have a lot of women out here that's using abortion as a form of birth control, and that's not okay. Um, this is just the side effects of what's really transpiring. What's really transpiring in this country is what we all know is that the white population are afraid, because their numbers are going down, their numbers are decreasing, and they're not populating as much as in the past, due to the opioid epidemic and various things like that. So this is one of the main reasons that Roe versus Wade was overturned, and a lot of other people are just caught in the crossfire of that. I think, it's not about the abortions per se. It's just about a lot of women just going out there and being sexually irresponsible. And if they turn up pregnant, then they can just go get an abortion. And that's what we've been seeing for quite some time. As far as what Hazel was saying, men have always been held responsible. And usually the ones that's avoiding child support, those are not guys that are doing so well, because a lot of the times when you can't work or you can't report an income, you're not going to be living that great. You got some guys that may be able to work labor jobs and different things like that, but if you're a productive citizen and you're out here and you have to make your money and make a living, there's no way for you to run from child support.
Okay, we have a comment. Exactly. It's all about increase the white population so they can maintain power. It's not about morals, or it's about power.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people are not seeing the bigger picture. They're just, looking at that their choices is being taken away. But in my personal opinion, what we're seeing is that some women just are not being responsible adults. Some women just want to act like children. And it's about the fact that, they want to have hot girl summer. And you got Amber Rose, dropping songs like Get Your Hoe On and different things like that, where these women are just being sexually irresponsible. We can't sit up here and act like that when a lot of these women were having children, that they was purposely picking the right mate to have children with. Now, I give a pass to women that were in their teens and different things like that. I get it. But when you're well into your 20s or your 30s, and, you're intentionally, and you're intentionally picking the wrong partners, and a lot of the times that this man has multiple children, and he doesn't come off as, you're not thinking responsibility. You're not thinking this is a person that I can build a family with, that's going to take care of a child. You're thinking that you're sexually attracted to that man. Some of these women intentionally have children with that man just to try to keep this man around. And it's a lot of elements that go in it that varies from community to community. And this is the end result of what we're seeing. We can't sit here and act like just because a woman is uh, left carrying the child. Most of the time, the woman wants the child to use the child as leverage against the man that she was with that impregnated her. And a lot of the times, these children are not coming up where the mother actually cares for the child either. And it's been a proven statistic that a lot of these children suffer at the hands of physical abuse in single parent homes with their mothers. And it's also been statistics that shown that, single parent fathers are, doing pretty well with raising their children. Very rare do you hear, of single parent fathers just, being in the mix with doing, um, evil, intentionally evil things to their children. You have a lot of cases where a lot of these women are leaving their children with their new boyfriends, or in a situation where they're stressed and they don't know how to financially support the child, so they take the abuse out on the child. Or you have a lot of women that's just using the child for government assistance. So that's a lot of people are not being, you know um honest when it comes to that. A lot of people have a lot of these women that know that they're irresponsible, but they're trying to hide behind responsible women that are in situations where things may have not worked out, and they went their separate ways, and now you know they're just trying to get child support, or they want to have an abortion. And that's another thing, women. If you know that you're a responsible type of woman, you need to start calling out these women, because you have a lot of women that are irresponsible, that don't hold themselves accountable, that hide behind a lot of women that do, because they know you're going to stay on code and not call them out.
Actually, there are some women that are being responsible and calling out these women out. Unfortunately, it's not enough. It's not enough of them. And someone actually spoke about this for quite a while. His name was Kevin Samuels. Unfortunately, many of the modern women wanted to have him crucified for discussing this. And Blasian King, it was a pleasure to see you in the chat. Hopefully, at some point, hopefully, at some point, you'll become part of the panel. Take care.
Yeah, so something that something that Magic Mama said. I mean, when it comes to being strong and independent, that a lot of these young women follow the likes of Cardi B when Cardi B herself is actually married, or the fans of Beyonce. They believe that song in which she's saying that women are independent, girls run the world. But Beyonce is married. She has a whole husband at home. I mean, she's telling you one thing, but then she goes on and practices something else.
And
And both these women, they seem to be happy. They seem to be happy being with their husbands.
and I
But they're
wanted
telling
to
you to be strong and independent. Come on,
yeah,
ladies.
and I wanted to cover that real quick, Ramon, just like what you were saying. And we've seen how that has transitioned into the YouTube world. I never paid close attention to it until now, because now we see how easy it is to pander to women, because women want to hear whatever that make their ears tickle. It's not easy to pander to men. It's not, because men know
No, we
our
gotta see bullshit.
Oh
Kinda
yeah,
like-
we see bullshit because we're the ones that got to go out here and physically, do the work. So it's no different from, like they would. I remember when people were asked, why are we losing, the male population in the churches and different things like that, because men don't go off of hope. Men don't go off of fantasies and different things like that. If it's no resources that's produced to make, if there's no resources that are produced that can be allocated for me, supporting my family, then I'm not interested. You can only give a man lip service for so long, because men don't go off of feelings. Men only go off of results. And like you said, Ben was able to call, like Beyonce, all the women that's independent, throw your hands up at me.
yeah.
And different things like that. I mean, different songs like that. All the single ladies, while she's up here with Jay-Z. And not only is she up here with Jay-Z, but obviously they've had, infidelity in a marriage, and she sat there and made it work. You got women like Cardi B. Women like Cardi B is married. You even had her husband Offset, who filmed the video, who filmed footage of her in the kitchen cooking or washing dishes and different things
Yeah,
like that.
and sweeping the floor and all. Very homely, very housewife like. I mean, it was such a contrast, because here goes somebody who was making songs with the city girls about partying and doing whatever the hell they want, but then they go home to their husbands and they cook and clean. Like, come on now.
And
like, ladies, wake up now.
right, because
Okay.
here's the thing, what you were just saying, Ramon, what Don was just saying, who is winning the battle of the sexes? No one, because everyone is getting totally screwed. Well, it's at this point that men are washing their hands of a lot of this foolishness. Men are washing their hands of a lot of these foolishness. You have some men that are leaving the country to find companionship in other places and various things like that. Men are not participating in a lot of this foolishness, and a lot of these women are confused because they're listening to the programming that's being pushed to them, but the results are not adding up. Even when you look at what's going on with YouTube, you have a lot of women that purposely mislead women and con women out of their money, by sending the wrong message, and then these women look up and wonder why they're single. And I'm gonna start asking some of these women the same thing that they ask men. Are you, because anytime a man calls out a woman, anytime a man calls out a woman about some of this foolishness that's transpiring, they'll say that you hate women or that you're gay. Well, can the same be said by these women that will purposely listen to other women over the men that they say that they want to be with? I don't know.
K-Fit, if you want to join the panel, by all means do so. The link is in the chat.
We could use your point of view. I understand that you're a mom, so this is something that is up your alley naturally. So we could use your perspective.
Okay. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I
Actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, me personally, I believe that you have a lot of women that's at a crossroad because you have women that want to, um, do whatever they want to do and make their own choices, but their nature is telling them something different. Because at the end of the day, they want to make their own choices, but at the end of the day, they still want a man to marry. But you have a lot of these women today that want men to get with their program. But then at the same time, if you get with their program, then that's not a masculine man that's going to, be a leader. He's going to follow you. And then a lot of the women are going to complain that he's not a leader later on down the line in life. So it's it's cutting in every direction, the angle, man.
I can give you an example. Nicki Minaj. She's with her husband, okay, but she's the one who runs things. She's the man in the relationship. He has to follow her lead. He has to do what she says, and that can only last for so long because eventually the guy might start to get uncomfortable with it and starting to rebel, and then some problems might arise because he is in the role of the wife to a degree because he doesn't have a choice. I mean, she's the one who has to be in control of the relationship. But the thing is that naturally, inherently, as a woman, Nicki Minaj is just not gonna respect him for the long term.
You
It's
know,
just
as
not gonna happen.
as we've
Mhm.
seen, she used him as her attack dog. Because he's the guy. He's the guy out of the streets. He's a felon. Anytime that she
Yeah.
feels like that a man has disrespected her, she feels that somebody is in the wrong or have wronged her, then she use her her felon husband as the attack dog, because in some cases, a lot of the times, those men don't mind going back to jail, especially if it's a situation where their woman has money and finances where they'll be taken care of and be able to bounce back on their feet. But to clarify what Hazel was saying earlier, I'm not saying most women will accept cheating, Hazel, but what I'm just saying, from women like Beyonce and Cardi B, Beyonce, the same woman that said to the left, all the things you own in the bag to the left. That's crazy how she would accept that. So it's obviously she's not living
Yeah,
by
yeah,
what she's
that was kind
selling.
of hypocritical.
she's
That was
not
a
she's
little
Let's
bit
not living by what
hypocritical.
she's selling a lot of these women. So
Yeah, yeah,
and
she's contradicting herself on that
and
one.
and and
excuse me. Don Amanda's not able to join us. Don Amanda, I'm going to be in Philly in about 2 weeks, so maybe we can meet up at some point. Okay. I see that K-Fit is actually watching Netflix. Okay, well, all right.
Okay, Netflix can wait. She should be joining us here. She can pause Netflix.
And particularly the number of times I appeared on a plan. I mean, please.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's another comment.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about the whole thing with Rihanna. I don't think she's separated from the dude that she's with. I mean, ASAP. I don't think she has separated from ASAP.
I'm not. I don't equate it. I
No,
know.
but they should follow their example, Hazel. If she's gonna be singing about to the left, she should be living by that. I mean, by that
That's what I'm.
standard.
That's what I'm saying. See, the thing is, for instance, we'll take. I grew up in the '90s, Hazel, so I grew up on gangster rap. I
Mhm.
know for a fact that a lot of those guys wasn't living, the gangster rap, lifestyle that they said. It was no way that you could and still be a free man,
Mhm.
living that way. But the difference between men and women, a lot of women really believe that a lot of these women are living that way, or at least they unintentionally get brainwashed into believing certain aspects of that song and equating that to real life. Another thing that you were saying earlier, Hazel, um, no, she was not. She hasn't been single since she was 19, 20 years old. She's been with Jay-Z since. But another thing that she said, like, a lot of women are opting out of marriage and children altogether, it's not the men that's complaining, Hazel. It's the women. The women are complaining that they can't find men, and the same women that feel empowered to opt out of marriage and children until they hit their mid to late 40s, then all of a sudden, that mindset changes. And if the mindset doesn't change, what that woman tries to do is intentionally mislead younger women so she won't be the only person in that space. So we got to be honest about what's going on out here. You have a lot of women that are not getting the results that they want, so they purposely mislead women down the same path, especially if they feel like it's too late to change directions,
No, I just find it odd that you put Beyonce and her cheating husband as an example for women to just accept men's behavior because, oh, you need to work it out. That's not going to fly.
You're not
We
listening to
didn't
what I'm
say
saying.
we
You're not
didn't we
listening to
didn't
what I'm
say
saying.
they have to accept that. We didn't say that.
No, they need to work it out. Oh yeah, Jay-Z cheated on her, but yet they worked it out.
That's not what
Don't
I said.
expect that from
They
most
chose
women.
to do that. They chose to do
Yes,
that.
they chose it individually. That's what I'm trying to say. Do not rely on what these celebrity women do in their real lives based
Uh-huh.
off of their music. So what? She made a song to the left, or all the single ladies, or Miss Independent, whatever it is. Those are just songs. We're talking about reality. So the women are
No, we are
going
talking
to
about
still
reality, and women are living like by those songs like they are reality. That's the example that I'm
well,
making.
then you go get women that don't want to be independent. Don't worry about the women who want to be
Most
independent.
men are, and the women are complaining that there
No
are not
woman is
enough men around.
complaining. Women are not
Yes, they
complaining
are.
because most women
Women
want to do
complain
whatever they want to do.
everywhere.
You just finished saying most women want to do whatever they want to do. So then who are the
They
women that
want
are
to do.
complaining then?
Okay, they want to do whatever they want to do, but then they get mad when they don't get the results that they expected from doing what they want to do, and that's when they complain.
Well,
Hazel.
who is that? How did you come to that conclusion, and what facts are you basing that on?
I'm not.
Because
I'm basing it off what
at
I'm
one
seeing.
point
You
you're
see it
saying
all
most
over
women
social
are getting
media.
mad.
You see it in magazines. You see a lot of independent women saying that they can't find men on their level.
I don't see that.
We've
I
seen
don't see
this.
that. I see women
Well,
saying
I
they
don't know
don't
what
want to
you've
deal
been
with men anymore because
watching.
Okay,
all of them.
well, that's what you see. Just what you see, Hazel. I mean,
Okay, but
as
you're
men, we're
seeing these
observing.
things, and I'm telling
What,
you. Okay, so you're talking for women. This is the problem. You're talking for women as if
we're
you
not
know,
talking
and
for
I'm telling you,
women,
I do not
Hazel.
see all women saying that. Okay, you can have your
We,
opinion. What I'm saying is, I want to know where are you seeing this because I'm seeing the exact opposite. I'm seeing women say that they would like to get married, but it's not something that they strive for. They're not. If they don't ever get married, that's okay. So the ones who are looking for marriage and not getting the results that they want, those are the ones that are looking for marriage. I'm talking about women. More women are opting out of marriage and children altogether. That is not. That is, they don't speak for the collective of women because there are more women opting out of that altogether. So the ones who do want marriage and whatever the relationships or whatever, those are the ones that you're talking about. I just want you to make that clear because a lot of women do not care what men do. If you go out of the state, you
I've made
go.
it crystal. I think I've made it crystal clear, actually, to what I'm saying, because I'm like, I don't know what you saw, Hazel, but maybe I'm seeing things differently, and apparently a lot of
Yes.
men are, because you have a lot of women that even complain about men going out of the states and going to the Caribbean or going to the African continent or going all over, because like a lot of these women, they make a decision, but then 10 years, 15 years down the line, when that decision is no longer
Are you
valid to what they
referencing to
thought.
black women? Black women are making these
okay,
complaints.
no, we're not talking about race,
We're not
Hazel.
talking about race,
Already
Hazel.
said.
I don't see
Already
people.
said
I
that
don't see
earlier. We're
women
not
in the
talking about
Hispanic
race.
community complaining about that. I live in a
Okay.
predominantly Hispanic community, and I don't see women complaining about that.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm talking about what's going on outside of the Hispanic community with other communities.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Are you talking
Include
about people? Are you talking about specific race of
No, well,
women? Because
I'm talking about Black Americans and white Americans, but it sounds like you're basing
oh,
your
okay. See,
perspective
that's what I'm
off of.
saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't. You're talking about black and white Americans. I'm not seeing that because I'm not in those
Okay, but see,
spaces
that's
like
what you
that.
have to understand. Like, you're in your sector of the Hispanic community in Florida. A lot of what we're talking about is transpiring in other communities outside of the Latin
But
community and
I'm also
all the
from New
communities.
York. I'm also from New York too. So
are
it's,
you
it's not
basing
like I
your
don't see what's going on in other states.
okay? Are you basing your perspective on the Hispanic community in New York
I'm
as well,
basing my
or are you
perspective
just
off
basing?
of I'm basing off my perspective off of multiple different women's groups and multiple for different races. It's not all one race. I see a lot of women
But you just
nowadays.
said you was basing it off the Hispanic community.
No, you saying outside. You said that you were talking about women in general. When I asked you specifically, because in the Hispanic community, they're not saying that they can't find a man, and the reason and they don't like that men are going overseas to find women to marry. That's what I'm
Well,
talking about.
I'm talking about modern American women and modern American black and white women. If to
Okay, so that's
be
why I'm
more
asking you to
specific.
be specific of what you're talking
I've
about.
been being Pacific. That's exactly who I'm talking.
No,
I'm a
I
black
just
American
asked you,
male.
are you talking about black women? You said no, and now you're saying you're specifically talking about black and white women. I specifically asked you what race of woman. That's
First
No,
all.
and foremost,
but Hazel,
It's
you're
clear what you're
assuming that we're
saying.
talking about. You're assuming that we're talking about black women. We're talking about North American women. Period. We're not
No,
talking about one specific race.
he just finished saying that he's really specifically talking about white and black women now.
yes, modern. Okay, I'll put it this way, Hazel. Women with the more of a modern woman mentality, which mostly derives towards some black American women and some white American women.
Okay.
A lot of the women that you see that are protesting the Roe versus Wade, you don't see a lot of. Usually, the Hispanic community is within its own bubble and follow within its own culture. I'm talking about the broader culture that's within the United States.
Okay, because like I said, I am not seeing a whole lot of women crying about how they can't get a husband.
But you
But
just said
no, no, but
you're
you're talking.
within your community, Hazel.
No,
You said it's
asked me
within
where
your
am I?
community.
Okay, you asked me where am I getting, where am I seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm telling you on different social media sites and in the community that I live in, most of the women are not complaining about men going overseas and finding a wife. That's why I'm asking you, what race of women are you talking about? Because what you're saying, I've seen black women complain about that. I do not see women of all races complaining about that.
But Hazel, you do understand that there are white guys that are also going overseas to get Asian women because they can't deal with the women in their own group. White dudes are
Do
doing
you
that
see
the
the
same
white a
thing.
big group of white women complaining about that? Do you see a big group of white
Well,
women complaining about
they're
that?
going to have to keep it to themselves, but there is a growing number of North American white men that are also going overseas to other parts of the world to get women that come from a more conservative culture that are more likely to be submissive to them, because there are many white American women that are also
Mhm.
have that mentality of being modern, strong, and independent, and that sometimes they are difficult to deal with. And
So what is
those are the
so
ones
you
that are.
guys have a problem with women wanting to be strong and independent, and there's women who do want to be
Because I'll tell you
submissive. Why
why.
don't you go and check out the ones that do want to be submissive to their husband, to a husband? Submission comes with marriage. It does not come just because you're a boyfriend. You have to understand that as
If that's
well.
the
You have to
case,
earn that.
Okay, okay.
if that's
Excuse
the
me.
case, then
If I
financial support shouldn't come from a boyfriend with a girlfriend. If that's the case, if we're
there's women
preparing,
working nowadays. There's a lot more women working nowadays.
okay,
So how
excuse
are you
me.
going to expect submission with someone working and helping you pay the bills?
Excuse me. If I
Okay,
can just.
so what you want is for the woman to be able to just sit around and not do
What is the
anything at
need for
all.
you for what is the need for a woman to be submissive? Because I'm married, right? I'm married. I think I'm the only one that's married here, unless you're married to 18th letter, and I'm
Oh.
not submissive. That is not a requirement.
Well, that's what your husband allows. Your husband allows
No, it's
that.
not about what he allows, it's what I allow. He knew what he was getting into when he married me.
Exactly, because apparently you are the one in
That's what he
control of your
chose, not
household.
what he
That's what
allowed.
it
What he
seems.
chose. You mean
I'm
that's what
going
he
by what you're
chose, not what he
saying.
allowed.
Exactly,
Uh,
because you are the one in control. I get it. I
what
get it.
he's
I
told,
respect that. If that's
that
what
No,
you
no,
then
no.
need,
that's the
That's
choice
what
that he
he
made.
chose. What he chose. He
Then
chose
that's the
someone
choice
no,
that
that
he
he
allowed
made.
it. He allowed it.
no, he
You imposed that choice on. He
no,
didn't
I
make a
did
choice.
not. He
You
chose
took
to marry
control.
me.
You
He
told him
chose to
was
marry
what.
me knowing that I was not a submissive woman. He cannot
okay.
allow me to be submissive or not. He has to choose a woman, and he doesn't mind not having, he does not require some. He didn't choose me. He didn't give me that choice to be submissive or not. I'm just not. He chose a woman that that's not going to be submissive, and he was okay with that. He doesn't get to choose for me whether I am submissive or not. I chose not to, and he accepted it. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Okay, but that's on him. That's what he chose.
Excuse me
That's
if
fine.
if I can just chime in because I was actually married. Okay, I think part of the problem is the fact that we treat the word submissive as like basically that the woman is a doormat for the husband. Okay,
Oh, these days
that's
it's a trigger
okay.
word. It's a trigger word these days.
Okay. If I can get at least 2 minutes uninterrupted.
I'll be
Okay.
quiet.
Okay. No, but okay.
It's just curious.
Okay. I think what it's a more appropriate term would be is cooperation. Okay. Unfortunately, people because being submissive means that they're a doormat, they're a slave, they can do whatever the man says, and the woman has no voice. Okay.
Right.
That's one twisted concept of submission. Okay. But let's take a look in what the Bible. Okay, now I know some of you don't agree with the Bible, but I mean that's how I base everything, because the Bible does state, "Wives, be submissive to your husband." When I mean submissive, in other words, okay, like let's say you, Hazel, you're my wife.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have a discussion, and then I'm gonna seek your input regarding the discussion. Okay.
Yeah.
And then after we have a discussion, a decision needs to be made. So in that case, I'm not treating you as a doormat. I'm seeking advice from you as my wife to
Yes.
help me make a decision that's going to affect us.
Right.
Okay. Now there's the other part of that is husband, love your wives as Christ loved the church. If your husband, I'm going to value your input. I'm going to value your views. I'm going to value the fact there'll be times that we may disagree, but as long as we work together for our mutual benefit, it's okay. I think what people need to understand that submissive, when it really means more like working together and cooperate.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to cooperate with each other and come to a compromise. It's not always going to be the man's last decision making. It's not always going to be like that. And speaking from a person who is married, it doesn't work that way. You're not always going to have the last say, even when you have a submissive wife.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is you are not
Hazel,
always going to have the last say. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not saying that men should always have the last say. I'm saying if the man is the one that is the provider and he's handling his business and his responsibilities, at the end of the day, he's going to make the chief decision. Of course, the woman is going to have influence with that decision, but he's going to make the chief decision in the end because everything falls on him. Because if women can always reverse, and you can let a woman make the last decision, and if things don't go well, it'll fall back on the man. So it's up to the man to make that final decision.
According to who? Who? What kind of decision are we talking about? Because most of the decision making happens with me, and he just follows along. If you're being,
okay, well that's the dynamic of your relationship. But that's not the truth.
If you're picking a responsible woman, if you're picking a irresponsible woman who makes irresponsible decisions, then I understand how it falls back on the man, because he keeps on allowing this woman to make irresponsible decisions. But he married that irresponsible person, and is allowing her to make these decisions, and he's just letting it, fall through. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
in the example I just stated, let's say we're married and we decide to buy a vehicle, and let's just say you're more knowledgeable about the vehicle that I am. Okay. In this case, what I would do is I will follow your lead because you're more knowledgeable. So again, it goes back to cooperation. Unfortunately, certain women treat being submissive as being a slave, and that's not the case. And now we have Morena in the house. Good evening, Morena. It's good to see you again, as always.
Hey, Morena.
So do you
what's
understand?
going
Hi,
on?
Morena.
So do you understand my point, Hazel?
Yes, I do understand. I do understand your point. I just want it to be made clear that you cannot use submission as a way to say, well, women don't want to submit, but why aren't they submitting? And like you just proved my point here, that a lot of men use the word submissive because they want a woman that is a doormat, that will never question them, never
That
stand
is
up to
not
them, and never
true.
defend
That is not
themselves.
true.
That's
But then
not what we
you have
say.
men.
That's not
That's
what
That's
we
not
say.
what
We
we
don't
said.
want women to
That's
be
not. That's
doormats.
definitely not what we said. You're
I
being
didn't say that you said that. I did not say
disingenuous.
that you said that. I said
That's a common
I want it
feminist
to be made
talking
clear
point.
what do they mean. I didn't say that either of you or introverted said that. I said to make it clear. What does that actually mean to you? Because a lot of men are using that word in the wrong way, and they want a doormat. I never said either of you men specifically wanted that. Okay, do not take what I'm saying as a personal attack, and that I assume that you are that type of man. I'm saying you men need to make it clear, what do they mean by submissive woman? If you're going to get married to someone, and you're saying that you're going to find someone out of the States to marry, right? That woman will speak up and be against you too. There is a risk for that, because the women know the laws here. The women knows their rights here. And a lot of times when you bring a woman from another country, you bring her here, she has rights and she knows.
It depends
Okay.
on the type of women that she's around. If she has women, it goes back to Eddie Murphy Raw. Remember Miss Fufu and how Miss Fufu was hanging around with American women
Okay, so
that
keep certain women
head.
away from your foreigner wife that you bring here, because you don't want her to know
But
that
see,
she
you
can
just
stand
made
she can
see.
No,
talk
it's
That's what
not
I'm
about
have
that,
saying,
her
right?
Hazel.
opinion.
It's because
Hey,
she cannot be allowed to be around feminists that are gonna poison her mind against her husband. That happens all too often.
and
It's not
another
about
thing,
her
Hazel,
not being able to socialize with others.
you just made an
But
assumption.
who I
You have a
didn't make
lot
an
of men.
assumption. I asked you a question. It wasn't an assumption. You're taking what I'm
What,
asking you
you're
as
over talking me,
personal.
Hazel. No, I'm not taking anything personal. You're
Okay.
over talking me and you're not allowing me to speak. First and foremost, you have a lot of men that's just
Feminist.
opting to go into these other countries and don't come to America. You have a lot of men
Wait,
that just
what?
set
What
up
was that?
shop. You
Repeat
have a
that
lot
again.
of men. You have a lot of men that are going to these other countries and are deciding to stay there in those countries
Oh, okay.
and use their finances from America to fund their lifestyle in whatever country of their choosing.
Okay.
Submission is only
Okay.
cooperation, Hazel. Most men are simple. Men are not. It's not. This is not medieval
You
times. A lot
date
of
men?
men are not. No, I am a man. I am
Okay.
a man.
Most of you are not simple.
See,
Yes, we
that's
are.
this is what
Okay.
I'm
For
talking
the most
about.
part, yes, we
No.
are.
That's what I'm
We
talking
are. We
about.
are.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I'm talking.
Okay. Excuse me. I just want to
Most of you are
acknowledge
not.
that. Okay. Excuse me. If I can just cut in. I just want to acknowledge the fact that Brianna and Fulano La Cubana is in the chat. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening, ladies.
If you wish to join the panel and explain how either one of us is incorrect, by all means do so. Now, Hazel, you might think I'm being incorrect. I don't know, but I'm just trying to keep
No,
it.
I don't think that they're incorrect. I want them each to individually explain what do they mean by submission and what are their intentions with it. Because like you said, a lot of men misuse it. I'm not saying that these two gentlemen are going to be like that. I'm saying that their male counterparts do misuse that. I'm not saying they are, and I think they need to understand that I don't have anything personally against them. I'm not accusing them of anything. I want them to be aware that their male counterparts abuse the way that they think, what that word means. It is abusive, and you even know that yourself.
Okay.
Some men use it the
Now,
wrong way. I'm not saying they
Okay,
will.
okay, you're talking to us about how abusive it is. It does sound kind of rather accusatory, Hazel.
I'm not
mean,
accusing you, though. You understand? I'm not accusing
but
you
you're
or
raising
all
your
men.
voice. You're raising your voice and all.
Okay,
Like you're
let's
trying to be the dominating voice on the panel. Okay, I heard it. I heard it the first time.
So
okay.
how am I accusatory if you understand that I'm not saying it's all men?
Well, but you are making this case. You keep repeating about the whole thing about submission and all of these guys that want women to be doormats, and you keep repeating that. You keep repeating that. It's like you are
No,
trying
I'm
to
saying
drive that
Jose said that.
accusation home.
Jose understands what that some men do not use it for the right reasons. That's all I'm saying. I said when women get defensive of that word, it's because there is a legitimate case that a lot of men do not take that submission the right
Uh,
way.
yeah, but
I'm not saying all
who's
men.
really getting defensive? Who's really getting defensive? Because that is more of a trigger word.
That's
A
not
lot of
that's not
women get
defensive
triggered
though.
and get defensive because
That's
I
not
mean
me getting
mention that
defensive
word.
though. That's not me getting defensive though. When I'm asking the two of you individually, what is your definition of that word? Like why are you using that word? That is not a gotcha question. I'm not gonna say you're
Okay, okay. I'll nip
anti-woman. You
this in the
understand what I'm
bud.
saying?
I'll just say I'll give you a clear definition. I'll give you a clear definition on what my definition of submissiveness is. First off, I don't even use submissiveness because most women are emotional, and just like Ramon said, they get triggered when they even hear the word because they start thinking medieval times in that you're just a dominant man over some woman. Everything submissive is nothing but cooperation. I make the lead decisions. I am the lead of the household. I'm the person that make the lead decisions. You have input on our decision making, but since I'm the one that's doing the providing and I'm the one that's taking care of the household and taking care of you, I will make the chief decisions. If I make a mistake, then that's going to fall on me. But that's something that I'm going to be very aware of, and we're going to work together. That's it. Just cooperation. That's it. If I'm doing this, if I'm taking care of the bills, if I'm paying for everything, if I'm making sure that you're taken care of, then just follow my lead and cooperate with me. That's all.
Okay.
Lady, okay, I just want to encourage the ladies in the chat if they wish to come in and express their point of view. By all means, do so, because I don't want it to be just men dominant. And again, okay, now in my case, I have a girlfriend that lives in the Dominican Republic. Okay, so but in my case, we have a lot of discussion. Okay, and I seek her input. Okay, I'm not asking her if we get married. I'm not asking her to submit to me per se. I'm asking her to cooperate so we can work together.
Right. That I can agree
Okay.
with. That I can agree with.
Yeah,
I don't see
and
anything wrong with that.
a little clarification, really quick. I mean, because
Okay, excuse me. Okay, excuse me. How am I?
Okay.
Okay, how am I? How am I under the influence?
What?
No, her.
Oh,
She means her. I think she means her being under the influence, right? No, but really quick clarification because it was mentioned on the on the chat that we're ganging up on you, Hazel. And no, actually, Hazel, you
I
got
can hold
the
my
backing up.
own.
No,
I can hold my
okay,
own.
but hold your own how. We're not arguing here. I mean,
Yeah, but nobody. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's arguing. Nobody's arguing at all. Everybody's saying. What I'm asking is for your individual opinion on something. I'm not accusing all of you, or all three of you, or the two of you of being some type of deviant man who wants to just dominate women and make them do whatever you want because you're paying bills. I'm not trying to make you guys out to be that way. I just want you to understand that a lot of men do abuse that whole submissive thing. I'm not saying all men, and I think you're
there may be
disregarding
some.
what I'm saying.
There may be some, but the thing is
Yeah,
that
that's all I
you are
want you to
kind of like
understand.
holding us up accountable for them. I mean, you
What
keep trying
happened?
to argue about that, and
Wait.
what I
No,
can
no,
tell
hold
you.
on, hold
Let
on.
me finish,
Okay.
but let
I
me
didn't
have a
hear you. I
word.
need you to repeat what you said. I didn't hear you. I need you to repeat what you said from the beginning.
Okay. when it comes to the whole point, we get the point of what you're trying to say, but it's like you're trying to hold us accountable for something that some guys out there are doing. We're not doing that here, and you keep bringing
But
up this whole
how is
notion.
asking
Don't
you
let
your
me finish.
individual
Let me
opinion
have a
holding
word.
you accountable for what other men do? See, this is where you're getting triggered because I'm asking you specifically,
Trigger.
what is
I'm
your
not triggered.
definition of submission? I am not accused. I'm not making you accountable for what other men do. I'm asking you your personal what do you call it? Your personal opinion of what submission means to you. I don't know how you are equating that to mean I'm holding you accountable of some men who abuse that word.
Okay. Well, we're trying to we're trying to get you to understand that when it comes to the whole thing about submission, you are taking it a bit personal, Hazel.
I am not. I'm asking
You're
you
taking it
individually, what
personal.
is your individual opinion of the word submission? That is all
I'm
I'm
not
asking you.
having,
I don't know why you're
but you're
saying I'm
raising your
getting
voice.
defensive or
You're raising your voice.
why am I getting triggered? I'm asking you individually, what is your definition? What do you personally? I don't want you to explain anything in general. I want your personal opinion of what that word means to you. That is all.
When it
I am
comes
not
to
triggered. I am not offensive about that word.
when it
I
comes
just want to
to
know
the whole
your
submission.
personal information, your personal opinion on that word. That is it.
Okay. I'll wait because I'll try to say something. You will keep
Because you keep
saying
on
the
saying
same
that I'm
thing.
triggered when I'm not. I'm just asking you your personal
No, I'm
opinion of
calm.
that word.
I'm
So I
calm.
don't bring up how my feelings are towards that word. I want you to just explain to me what you feel about that word. What does that mean to you? It does not has anything to do with my feelings.
The whole thing
This is
about
the second time
submission.
you keep saying that I'm
Okay.
triggered about something.
But listen
And
to
I'm not.
yourself. But listen to your voice. Listen to yourself. You do sound like you're triggered. I'm
No,
calm
I
here.
don't.
I'm
Okay.
Now
chilling here.
you're gaslighting me. Now you're gaslighting me.
Okay,
You're
guys,
gaslighting me. And you're
guys.
anti-feminist. You're anti-feminist. I don't know why you're bringing up feminism either.
Okay, guys. If we just excuse me, if we can just stop talking about using the word submission, and because it can get very heated, and I know some people would love to get heated over here, but I mean, let's try to dial it down a bit. Okay, can we do that?
Yes, Lakubana. I just wanted to know. I just wanted him to answer the question. That is all. But okay. I mean, there's no
Okay.
other woman that wants to step up, and it's becoming a male-dominated conversation again on what is women's reproductive rights here, and it seems like women are being talked about, and then they're not coming up. I'm the only one coming up, and now I'm the one being defensive. I'm the one that's triggered when I'm only just asking asking a question to be answered, not my emotions, not to pick and scrutinize my emotions. Because if you're gonna keep on
Okay,
saying
but
that you're triggered, you're mad, you're mad, you're this, you're that, yeah, you're gonna get a response like
okay.
that.
Hazel, are you saying that I'm doing that?
No, not you. Oh my gosh, not you. Theo Jose, you just finished explaining what your definition of submission is for you, and that if you get married to your girlfriend, you are not expecting her to submit to you. That is what you personally think. What I'm
Yes.
asking Mr. Oh my gosh, introverted. I want to call him Mr. Boricua.
Okay.
What I wanted what I wanted from the two gentlemen is to explain what their definition of submission is to them. Hello?
Okay.
When it
Before
comes
I
to
just want to acknowledge. Okay, excuse me. Before we continue, I just want to acknowledge that Brianna is in the panel. Good evening, Brianna. Thank you for being part of the panel. Now let's get her point of view, because I do want it to be more balanced. So Brianna, you have the floor.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just going to give my opinion and then I'll leave because I have to go back. Um, One thing that I will say about relationships is that when somebody says the word submission, it shouldn't be taken to extremes. So I think what they mean is like, I guess, teamwork, like because in modern day relationships, it's not exactly how it used to be, where the woman was beholden to her husband. So, like for example, my parents were very traditional. My mom, like she homeschooled us, and while she was a stay-at-home mom for like 15 years, she like lost weight, or and she went back to school. She learned photography, and she made a little extra money on the side. She did weddings and stuff like that, all while being like in a traditional relationship. So maybe what they're trying to say is like traditionalism
Right.
works better for them, which I personally, that's my job. But because we're living in the like the 21st century, though, I would say that it's traditionalism, but with the 360 update, because people have so many. You can start a YouTube channel, you can start like a candle, you can make candles, you can do so much things right now, and so it's not as archaic. But I understand what the guys are saying. They want someone that they can get along with. And I understand with Hazel. But the thing with the women's rights thing, one thing I wanted to say is that like that means that the men are going to have to step up, and they're going to have to take more responsibility for these kids.
Yeah.
That and that's all that's going to happen, because it's going to and it's going to force people to be more responsible, and we don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll just wait and see. you know
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
what I wanted them to understand is that that word is so triggering. I think more men need to explain what their personal view on that word means, because right away women are like, oh no, I'm not your doormat, this and that. This is the only reason why I kept on asking them what is their personal definition, because they're on the internet saying that they want submission. So just explain to everybody what you mean. I'm not trying to have a gotcha moment here, like, aha, this guy wants a woman to be a doormat. I'm not trying to
Also,
make the men do that.
Also, Hazel, like that's like a guy, like I would say men who talk like that, they lack tact,
Hmm.
because it's like they have to understand women have like a history in the world of being oppressed, and
Right.
being like like I said before, beholden. So they got married, and if they wasn't with a husband, then there was no, like, they weren't allowed to work. And so women, so like, because I mean, come on, like there's thousands and millions of men getting married successfully, and they're not talking like that.
Right.
So, and they're fine, but it's not like their language. It's not
Yeah.
the way that they're saying it is different, and they're not saying and they're fine, but it's not like their language. It's not
Yeah.
the way that they're saying it is different. They're not saying and they're fine, but it's
Um,
Uh-oh, there's an
Agent
echo.
Letter, Rakim, that is kind of like
There's
like
an
an
echo,
echo.
yeah.
Something is being repeated.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that,
I
guys.
think maybe we all have to mute. I think that's what we have to do now.
Okay,
I know it's not me.
sorry about that, guys.
I'll mute, but I know it's not me.
What we have to do now.
I know it's not me.
the eighth letter. I think that's you. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Everybody's just muting so the echo could go away.
Yeah, I'll say this and I'll be done, I promise. But it's like, like tact. Like if you say you want a woman that's like that, just say I want a heteronormative relationship. Like, and
Mhm.
then what's going to happen? They're going to ask you, well, what does that mean? And then you say, oh, I just want a traditional relationship. And then that's it. But like that S word, it triggers women, because sometimes women have come from homes where the father was probably abusive or domineering or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to accuse these men of doing anything, or of having a deviant agenda with that word.
Yeah.
I hope that they're not thinking that I'm trying to make them out to be some type of abusers of that word. I just wanted for them to speak on what they think the word submission is.
Right.
I
Whether if
can
I
tell
agree with
you.
them or not, it doesn't matter.
Uh-huh.
That's all. I wasn't trying to make them out to be some freaking monsters here.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'll just
Well,
go
I
back
can tell you one thing that I can tell you, Hazel, is that not one time in my life I have been in a relationship with a woman and I'm thinking that she has to be submissive to me. I mean,
Okay.
the culture that I come from, women can be as vocal as they can be. It's just us men have to work with it. Remember, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from an island, and some traces of feminism are found amongst Puerto Rican women. You should know
Yeah.
something about that.
Well,
So the whole
my grandmother had to run away from her husband, who she was forced to marry when she was 15 years old, and her husband was 31 because he was raping her by the river when
Yeah,
she
but
used to
that's
wash
religion.
clothes.
That's
So
what that's religion. That's one of the reasons I'm not a practicing. I don't practice religion because if you look in the
yeah,
Bible, there is something that the Bible says about forcing a woman to marry a sexual assaulter. It's in
yeah.
the Bible. I mean, that's like one of the
And this
reasons
happened in Puerto
I don't practice
Rico.
religion. Huh?
This happened in Puerto Rico, back in the late
Yeah,
40s. And my grandmother ran away to New York,
yeah,
to
yeah.
get away from that. So
Hmm.
um yeah, it's true, we come from a culture where the women do have a say.
Yeah.
And I just wanted, everybody's listening, and I just wanted to know each
Hmm.
individual male's opinion, on what they think is submission and what a relationship is like to them.
Okay.
So that's all.
Can I say something about that now? Because when I try
Yeah,
to talk, I get interrupted. But
yeah,
put it in the simplest terms possible. I can only go by the way I grew up, by the
right,
way I was raised, and it's
right.
just being in a relationship with a woman where the man can be the leader. Because deep down, it's something that I have learned in my own experience that
Hmm.
women have more respect for a man that takes charge, that takes leadership, that those take responsibility. Women are more inclined to respect a man like that. If a woman has to lead the man, then when it comes to the relationship dynamics, it can be affected. The woman is not going to have a lot of respect for him. She's going to have to do everything. She's going to have to be
Hmm.
the one who leads. And
Right.
but in my in the way that I have been, when it comes to relationships, I don't go to a relationship expecting a woman to submit. I mean, because
Right.
I know that I get it. There are negative connotations to the word, but I need for her to be cooperative. I need
Let me
her
ask
to
you
manage.
something. Do you think that women now are dominating men? Are they not letting them have in the relationship have a say? Is that what you guys are saying, that what's going on?
There are instances in which the roles are being reversed.
Uh-huh.
There are
That
instances
men
in which
don't
that
have
happens.
men are not having a say in the relationship. They're being controlled, and women are making the decisions for them. Like, are you guys being belittled in these relationships? Like, and no one's the woman is not taking you seriously and not respecting your opinions?
On that I can only speak for myself when I tell you that when I grew up, when I really grew up, that stopped happening because I did understand I had to rebuild myself as a man after a really bad experience that I had to with a woman that I trusted too much. I had to
Uh-huh.
rebuild myself, and after that whole thing about me being overly controlled, that never happened again. Because in
Okay.
Puerto Rico we have an expression that says
Uh-huh.
es mejor solo que mal acompañado. It means it's better to be alone than to be in
Alone.
bad company
Bad company, yeah.
than being in bad company. And as Morena Reyes said, there are instances in which in Western relationships men are being emasculated to a degree because they just don't know any better. They were not raised right, and they didn't have a positive role model. I mean, to a degree, that's what happened to me because
Hmm.
I
You didn't
didn't,
have
I
a
didn't
dad,
have
right?
no, I didn't have my dad growing up. So after a certain age, I had to rebuild myself and kind of like take my masculinity back because I didn't have much of it. I was raised around women, so it's hard to be masculine when
Mm.
one is raised around women. So I had
Yeah,
to,
and there's no positive male role model to show you what a man is like. You can only
yeah,
live by how you are being raised. I
yeah.
understand. I really understand. Jose, I hope you know that you are muted. So if you're trying to talk and you don't realize that you're muted, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm sure that he's listening. And I see Kate Fit. If she can chime in and she can join the conversation. What's up, Kate Fit?
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna let Kay Fit to say some words, and then after that we're gonna start to take final remarks because I'm sorry, I am not gonna do a 20-hour marathon stream. Kay
But the conversation is good. Let it run. Let it roll. Just a little bit longer.
I know it's just that Radical is going to be on at 9:30, so I just want to make sure that we're supporting.
Ah.
Good
How
evening,
long have
Kay
we been
Fit.
on? How long have we been on already?
Good evening.
Over 2
It's
hours.
2 hours.
Okay.
Good evening. How's everyone doing? Shout out
Hello,
to the
Kate Fit
panel.
now.
Hey,
Hello.
Kate.
Hi.
Hi, I'm
I
just
love
trying to
your
survive the massive heat wave we have over here.
What's the
Wow.
temperature? What's the temperature, really quick?
Like 90 something, I think.
That's not heat wave. That's just warm. You should be
No,
down
no,
here
no,
with
no, no,
me
no, no.
with the temperatures at 112 averaging. Now that's warmer. That's just a little bit warmer.
I wanted to
No,
say
let's-
shout out to the panel. Jose, thank you for letting me join in. Hazel, I love your strong energy with keeping your point across, and I love the conversation.
Thank
I was
you.
like, I don't know if I
Hey.
can handle this. This is real spicy. I don't know if I can join this panel. But I think that every culture and everyone's background environment has developed them to whether be submissive or not be submissive. And every relationship you create your own rules on if that's submissive in the bedroom, in the relationship, with bills and finances. I think each couple develops, how that is. I'm not a religious person, but I am spiritual. So I think everyone creates, that boundary in their own relationship, and it looks different to everyone depending, even despite your culture and your upbringing and what you saw growing up. So that was my little 2 cents for everything I heard, but great conversation.
Okay. So at this point, we're going to start to take closing remarks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the men to say to give their closing remarks, and then I'm going to ask the ladies, being that it's been largely men, so I just want to make sure that the ladies have their final say. So now I'm going to go to the newest member of the Golden Spear, who wants to go to Times Square in shorts, that loves cold weather, and wants to be a part of the Polar Bear Club, the introvert Monica.
Come on.
Yay.
No. Let me be what is warm. And like Morena said, like, yeah, having some people might be dying because they're not equipped to deal with the heat, but somebody like myself can handle with a little bit of warmth. I mean, when it's 105 degrees average every day for the last couple of weeks, and it's just a little bit warm. It's okay. It's okay. I can handle it. It's the cold, but I can't deal with it. I hate it because it makes me sick. I can't breathe in that cold ass air. We talked about it already. But the thing that I wanted to say first off, of course, Don Jose, I appreciate you letting me on the panel. This was a great chat, great conversation. This may be a subject that can be continued on a different stream. I will look forward to it. It's a complicated issue, and because of things how they're changing when it comes to the legal front, then this whole thing, there are going to be more conversations, more things, people agreeing, people disagreeing. It's perfectly fine. We're adults. We can do that. We can come to the conclusion that we can agree to disagree, and nobody needs to get mad or taking it personal. I certainly don't. I mean, I'm calm. I'm chilling. And I'm not saying that anybody else is not calm and chilling, but I mean, it can get a little intense. It did. Yeah. So but we're just gonna be adults about it and handle it, and we can keep the conversation going, and until then, let's just say that it's gonna be difficult because of these decisions, these legal decisions, what's going on. But as men and women, we still need each other. So we need to, okay, we are having some differences, but nobody needs to feel like they have to be in battle with each other or anything like that. So, Don Jose, thanks. Hey, it's good to see you again, Hazel. But
Hey,
Rakim,
good night. I said, hey.
have a good
great night.
evening. Have a good evening. K-Fit, I wanted to hear more from you, but then again, you thought that Netflix was more important than the rest of us because that's something that Netflix is something that you could pause so you could have the conversation with us. But I look forward to the next one where you can also participate, and Madud, Rakim also, and Don Jose.
For sure. I'll be around next time for sure.
All right.
So Ramon, I'm gonna put you in the backstage, so please don't go away. Okay. And now we're gonna go to the other member of the Golden Spear who wants to experience Chicago winter in shorts, the 18th letter.
Unmute 18 letter. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't experience Chicago winters in shorts. More like jeans, Timberlands, and the triple goose, Jose Negron. But me personally, as far as everything is going right now, I mean, I don't. Me personally, when I say submission, I'm talking about cooperation, and it sounds like a lot of the times when things get misconstrued, I don't know if you have certain women that just deal with irresponsible men or what is the case. But for me personally, I pay my own mortgage, I own my own home, I got my own car. I do everything that needs to be done in regards of taking care of everything. And the only thing I say when I speak about submission is a person that's cooperative. If my finances is on the line and if everything falls on me from the choices that is made, I'm going to be the person to make the chief decision because everything falls on me. And usually I practice discernment when it comes to making those decisions, especially financially. And I think that's what most men are talking about. It's not men that are doing the complaining. It's men that's names being dragged through the mud that then we're forced to defend ourselves. You have certain groups of women, and like K-Fit said in the chat, not all. We have certain groups of women that want to do whatever they want to do, but they don't want to deal with the consequences of doing what they want to do. We can't sit here and act like that. A lot of these women are picking responsible men in order to be able to mate with and have children with, because in some cases they don't.
Right.
We can't act like that. It's not women out here that intentionally have children just to take advantage of the court system and take advantage of certain resources that they get. See, what a lot of people fail to remember is that men don't get any resources out here. We don't get resources for having children. If you look at what's going on right now in homelessness in this country, it's mostly men you see laying on them corners and sleeping in those alleyways and sleeping under bridges. Those are not women. Women have resources that if they're homeless, they can go places where they can get help. Most men don't. Like everything society falls on men. So I think that's something that people fail to remember, because a lot of people are, especially some women, just want to, live freely and make their own choices and different things like that. And I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But just know that your choices come with responsibility. You can't, decide that. We all know it takes two to make a child, but it only takes one person that's carrying that baby. So you have to practice discernment with the man that you chose to have that child with. And we can't, and I say this and I've said this in plenty of streams before, you can't act like you laid down with Barack Obama and woke up next to DMX. Don't work that way. You know, like that's and that's real talk. I mean, you gotta practice discernment with the person that you're sleeping with. Most likely, both men and women see red flags in a relationship that they're dealing with if they know that that person is a good person to have a child with. It's just that a lot of people chose to ignore them and pretend that they didn't ignore them later on when shit hits the fan. And that's something that we got to be responsible with. Yes, Roe versus Wade being overturned mean that it's going to affect hot girl summer. You can't, for these women that's advocating for this in the slut walk, you just can't go out here and get your hoe on and think you're going to have an abortion as a form of birth control. It's not happening like that. And this is just a backlash on other groups because we really don't have anything to do with this. The bigger picture is that unfortunately the white American population is decreasing in this country and they're trying to retain power, and they're going to do that by any means. If that means reversing in the Supreme Court to be able to produce more people that they can put in positions in government, in the political field, and in the industrial complex to be able to keep their population as the person that's in the dominant position over everyone else. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you very much, Rakeem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on the backstage, so please don't go away. And now we're going to hear from Hazel and her final words. I did try to keep it fair. I try to keep it, straight down the middle. I would have preferred more ladies to join the panel, but it is what it is. Hazel, your final remarks.
Hello, thank you for having me on, dear Jose. Thank you for everybody who joined in the conversation, whether if it was in the chat or on the panel. And I agree with you on more women being in these conversations. I wish more women did come on because a lot of times the decisions that are being made by men. And when women don't stand up for themselves and they don't like the results after, then sometimes they complain. But again, this panel should have had more women. I like I said, I am not here to talk about my personal opinions on what women should do with their bodies. I am a humanist. I am not of any political party. I think people should have the right to do as they choose with their own bodies within a reasonable amount where it doesn't harm them. Whatever that is, that's up to your interpretation. Women, I will say this: you are responsible for what happens to your body in terms of pregnancy. If you know you don't want to have children, you're not able to take care, it is on you, because you're the ones that are getting pregnant, to do the right thing and take whatever precautions you need to take. Do not rely on someone else. You are the one who is left with the one carrying and risking your life to birth children. I think that these laws can be dangerous because we have issues where children are being violated and then made to carry babies to terms. Be very vigilant of what some of these states are doing, what some of these lawmakers want to do, because some of it is not reasonable. And also, men are going to be negatively affected by these laws as well. It's not just irresponsible women; it is also irresponsible men. That if you think you're being held accountable now, it's going to be worse later. With these new laws that are happening in Florida and several other states, a lot more men are going to be made to take care of children that they may not want. So individual responsibility is something that you like to talk about, Theo Jose. Both men and women, please, if you know you're not able to have children, take care of children. Let me say that. If you know you're not ready for them, you don't have the capacity to take care of them, please be more responsible with your reproductive decisions. You understand what I'm saying? It's fun to have sex. It feels good, whatever. But you need to be more responsible, because now both men and women will be held accountable, more so women, of having these children. Okay, so, like Briella said, set your own standards and stick to them. More adults need to be responsible. Don't let the government make all these decisions. You, the individual, you are responsible for your own body. And that's all I have to say to that.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Hazel, for your input. I hope you do see that I did try to keep it fair. So,
You did. You did. I can tell you, you did, but you can't make women come up here and talk.
I know, but I did extend the invitation. So hey.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So
good night,
well,
everyone.
Thank you very much. If you can stay for the backstage, if you cannot, fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in the backstage. Thank you very much for your input, Hazel. And I love you very much. Okay. Now we're going to hear from K-Fit. Your final words.
Good evening. Well, I'm sorry I wasn't here for the whole thing. I'm normally cooking around this time, and I didn't want to just keep cutting my video off and on. But I'll try to rearrange my schedule so I can participate more often. But I think this is a really interesting stream. It can definitely be a part 2 and part 3 and part 4. And for me personally, I grew up on always being on birth control. That was taught to me, drilled to me, something you had to do. And in 2022, sex is so casual, so many statistical things and stigmas that are occurring, like you guys mentioned, baby mama stories and side babies. People just have to take accountability for their actions, and at the end of the day, every culture and household and environment we grow up, produces, different results in who we are and how we have our own situations. So it's going to look different from a lot of us, but I can relate to a lot of the things that all of your panel guests said. So very interesting topic, and thank you for allowing me on the platform.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, K-Fit, I'm going to put you in the backstage. If you can stay, stay. If not, I understand. Just remember that you always will have a home here. So thank you very much, K-Fit.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I'm going to give you my final words. The original topic was who's winning the battle of the sexes, but the fact of the matter is the issue with reproductive rights, it is part of the equation. And the fact of the matter is when everything is said and done, everyone, whether it be male or female, needs to be accountable for their actions. For the men, if the man wishes to engage in adult activity, they need to take all the necessary precautions, whether use a condom or the pill or what have you. And women should, if they're going to engage in sexual activity, there are over 30 different types of birth control. Now, in some places, it could be harder to get due to the states that they're in. But when everything is said and done, we're all accountable for our actions. And that's something that we must take into consideration. I just want to thank everybody who entered their comments in the chat. I want to thank Brianna, Hazel, the Intro Boricua, and the 18th Leather for being on the panel. So I just want to let everybody know that if you're not done so, please like and hit the bell notification to all, so therefore you will be notified whenever I do go on the air. Now, on Wednesday, we're going to have a discussion regarding how to deal with difficult people. It's originally scheduled for 9 p.m. I might change it to 9:30, depending on what's the situation. It's just that this week is going to be very busy for me because I do have some extra activities that I need to take. Okay, well, as I said it before, there is condoms. So that being said, so unless otherwise dictated, I will be on 9 o'clock on Wednesday, and the topic will be how to deal with difficult people, because we all have to deal with difficult people at times, whether it be work, school, whatever, or here on these YouTube streets. And of course, I thank you all very much for all the love and support that you've given me. The fact that we've gotten, I've gained 36 subs since May 1st. And again, it's all because of people like yourselves. Okay, and I see latex cut-free condoms are for people who are allergic like me. Okay, thank you for the information. So that being said, I'm going to close the same way I always close. People, do not let the errors of the past damage your future. And we must do everything possible to minimize our contact with a mentally and intellectually challenged. Otherwise, we will be infected by your stupidity and messages incentive. Thank you, Morena, for your kind words. I do hope that you find it very interesting. It did get a little spicy, though. But the fact of the matter is, this is a topic where it affects women to a huge degree and men as well, to a lesser degree. And there's another. Plus, it's not being banned in all states, so so things are going to be okay. Okay. So that being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Wishing everybody a good night. Take care and peace.
Be strong.